Hi and welcome. This is Khoji from Celestial Rhythms. Well, you see, I go back to the full moon chart of March 9, 2020. We are in such extremely special times. I mean, everybody will agree on that part. Very extraordinary what we are experiencing on planet Earth right now. And naturally, this has to show up in astrology somewhat, if astrology is meant to at all reflect what we are experiencing on this planet. So I revisited this chart of full moon, and really, I mean, it's an amazing chart. It's very, very rare to have such a powerful alignment exactly at the Earth's navel, where the cosmic umbilical cord is attached. Greenwich, the zero meridian. You see, in that moment when the moon exactly was full on March 9, the moon was just rising, just cutting over the horizon. And the sun naturally exactly opposite, just about setting, narrowly conjunct Neptune. This is the part of fortune, which is a mirror point between sun, moon, and ascendant. And this one is Earth. Always the Earth sign is opposing the Sun sign. It's natural. If you would stand on the Sun, you would see Earth at the other end. It's just like that. So we are a natural opposition, we could say, a natural polarity, Sun and Earth. So that's a special thing about full moons in general. Full moons, that's when the moon is exactly conjunct Earth. Well, at least that's what it would appear as being if you were standing on the sun and looking towards the Earth. Anyway, so this is really special, and this gives a powerful message. Why? Well, I am using the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching as an overlay to the zodiac. Those of you who follow me know that already a little bit. I tap into it here and there. Just want to show you quickly. That's on my old website where I'm talking about this a bit. It goes back to the human design system, which was channeled in 1987 by Ra Uruhu, which is a unique combination of astrology, I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the chakra system. Well, what I'm using here is just one part of the information which was shared, which is that amazing synchronicity of the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. Now, for now, I just want to zoom in on this section of the zodiac between 17 and 23 degrees roughly Virgo. That's where the ascendant and the full moon was on the 9th of March. And on the other end, where the Sun and Neptune were, Neptune naturally still is, so Sun has moved on meanwhile, but that's where they both were together on March 9, that is hexagram 22. Now bear with me, we will dive into these hexagrams meanings, and you will be amazed. You will be amazed. I was myself and I fully realized it. So, okay. So, hexagram 47, where I'll show you once more back to the chart here, where the moon is, the ascendant and Earth. Hexagram 47 is called oppression or exhaustion. And here you see the structure of the hexagram. The lake is above, that's this trigram, and water is below. The lake is empty, dried up. Exhaustion is expressed in yet another way. At the top, a dark line, a broken line, holds the two other ones down, and in the lower trigram, the lower three lines, the light, the powerful line is trapped between two dark ones. The upper trigram, Tui, the lake, belongs to the principle of darkness. The lower trigram to the principle of light. Thus, everywhere superior men are oppressed and held in restraint by inferior forces, I would say. The virus. Well, how about that? Let me give you a little more information on what the Richard Wilhelm translation says to this hexagram, and if you have an I Ching book, you can look it up yourself. Oppression. Success if you are perseverant. The great man brings about good fortune, no blame. That means if we are smart and cooperate the situation, there will be good fortune. When one has nothing to say, it is not believed. When one has something to say, it is not believed. Okay, it also says that we're kind of not able to truly communicate with each other. We're cut off from each other, alienated, separated. Times of adversity are the reverse of times of success, but they can lead to success if they befall the right man. When a strong man meets with adversity, he remains cheerful despite all danger, and this cheerfulness is the source of later successes. It is that stability which is stronger than faith. He who lets his spirit be broken by exhaustion certainly has no success, but if adversity only bends a man, it creates in him power to react that is bound in time to manifest itself. So the whole thing makes us stronger. I guess it makes sense. It is true that for the time being outward influence is denied to him, because his words have no effect. Therefore, in times of adversity, it is important to be strong within and sparing of words. Now, these hexagrams, as I told you, are about taking up 6 degrees of space in the zodiac, and there are 6 lines, so one can break it down. So at 17 degrees, starting is the first line, and then around 18 the second, around 19 the third. So it's kind of each line occupies about 1/6 of that space the hexagram gets. And it so happens that now Moon and Ascendant are occupying the third line. Now, this is kind of the wonderful thing about the I Ching, and which gives it the name. The Book of Changes is the changing lines, the dynamic lines. And this is then a dynamic line. It changes into a male, into a yang line. The broken ones are yin, or soft, dark. The straight lines are yang. So you see already where this goes. So this will be a full line, and I'll show you how it will look. This is hexagram 28, preponderance of the great. Now each line has a meaning. So this third line of hexagram 47 says, a man permits himself to be oppressed by stones and leans on thorns and thistles. He enters the house and does not see his wife. Misfortune. Excuse me. This shows someone who is restless and indecisive in times of adversity. Are we not ever? At first, he wants to push ahead. Then he encounters obstruction. He butts his head against the wall and in consequence feels himself oppressed by the wall. Then he leans on things that have themselves no stability and that are merely a hazard for him who leans on them. Thereupon he turns back irresolutely and retires into his house, only to find, as a fresh disappointment, that his wife is not there. Confucius, that's one of the wise men in China, ancient China, he says about this line, he was one of the first to make comments, which, well, at least that's what still is around. Maybe earlier teachings have been lost and destroyed. So Confucius, that's about 2000 plus years, 2500 years since. So it just shows you the ancientness also of that whole I Ching. It's about at least 5,000-year-old wisdom. So Confucius says about this line, if a man permits himself to be oppressed by something that ought not to oppress him, his name will certainly be disgraced. If he leans on things upon which one cannot lean, his life will certainly be endangered. So, a very simple message. What we're really missing are inessential things. We can live without all these and we're still happy. So that's kind of the message here. And now hexagram 28, preponderance of the grade. So anyway, it says here once more that this line we were just talking about, where moon and ascendant would benefit from more mature and considered approach to his difficulties. I guess that's what we are seeing happening. Not to make mountains out of molehills and not paying proper attention to the real nature of things and events. How can one expect a good outcome from one's actions? Yes, just as a warning. So the resultant hexagram 28, as you see here, preponderance of the grade consists of 4 strong lines in the center and 2 weak lines outside. When the strong ones are outside and the weak inside, all is well. However, there's nothing, however, yes, if the opposite is the case, if the weak ones are outside and the strong inside, then things are not in balance. So this hexagram represents a beam that is thick and heavy in the middle, but too weak at its supporting ends. Also, another picture which is given by the I Ching is this is a tree standing in the flooding river, exposed to the power of the water. So it's definitely a time of extremes, which I guess again makes sense. The ridgepole sags to the breaking point. It furthers one to have somewhere to go. So it's good to have a plan. The weight of the grate is excessive. These are excessive times. The load is too heavy for the strength of the supports. The ridgepole on which the whole roof rests sags to the breaking point because its supporting ends are too weak for the load they bear. Yes, that's what I just said. It is necessary to find a way of transition as quickly as possible and to take action. And I guess that's what's happening. So we are very proactive with this situation. This promises success if we do that. therefore, although the strong element is in excess, it is in the middle, that is, at the center of gravity, so that a revolution is not to be feared. So there will be no uprising in the sense of wanting to turn things over from that level, which is an interesting aspect of it. I guess it means that the people are staying calm, they're not they're following the orders, it's just the gravity of the situation is recognized and accordingly. Everybody understands we have to work together. Nothing can be achieved by forcible measures. The problem must be solved by gently penetrating the meaning of the situation, as is suggested by the attribute of the inner trigram soon. That's wind, that's this trigram, which is gentle in its action. Then the changeover to the other conditions will be successful. It demands real superiority, therefore the time of preponderance of the great is a very momentous time. Okay, here we go. And all in that one ascendant line. Now, if you look at the other end, let's just go back here to the chart for a sec, and you see here the Sun with Neptune in hexagram 22 and 22. That's the hexagram which is called grace, which is a very spiritual energy, a wonderful segment within the zodiac, and I want to get a bit deeper into this in a minute, but let's just start with the basic meaning of hexagram 22. While on lockdown, the natural response is to enjoy the many unexpected benefits of this exceptional situation. It's kind of polarities within the zodiac. On one side, you have exhaustion and oppression, and then you are just accepting that as is, and you make the best out of it. That's the natural response, which is then hexagram 22. Grace, the enjoyment of the beautiful things. It's the fire below the mountain. This is the hexagram of fire, and this is the mountain. And this hexagram shows a fire that breaks out of the secret depths of the earth and blazing up illuminates and beautifies the mountain, the heavenly heights. Grace, beauty of form is necessary in any union if it is to be well ordered and pleasing rather than disordered and chaotic. Grace has success in small matters. It is favorable to undertake something. So the wonderful thing here is that Neptune is in this hexagram already since quite a while. Neptune entered, let me just bring that up here. Neptune, the kingpin of awakening, in Oracle 22 Grace. Last year, between the end of March and fall equinox, was Neptune's first dip into this energy. Since January 29, again, Neptune has crossed the 17-degree mark and will be in this hexagram till May 2021, and then one more time from August 21 till March 22. So for the most part of the next 2 years, Neptune expresses through this very spiritual hexagram, which I wrote a little thing about that last March, so I just retrieved it and will read it to you. Direct divine intervention, jolting our DNA. So for the first time in over 150 years, since March 29, 2019, planet Neptune has crossed the 17-degree mark of Pisces and now expressing through I Ching Oracle 22 grace. So this was its first day, and then it went back in September for another few months into the hexagram before, after completion, which where Neptune had been previously, the 2 years previous, which I said here, where the mysterious giant planet had been teasing and tickling us for the better part of the last 2 years, overwhelming us with all kinds of paradoxes and complexities, so we may develop discernment and inner stability within this cosmic dream. And now, again, since January 29 and all the way into 2022, Neptune is acting as an agent of grace. Neptune transports us into a very refined realm, involving us in a process of awakening, invoking the direct intervention of divinity, coming down into our bodies. With planet Neptune's subtle frequency expressing through this oracle now, existence involves us in a magical process of DNA resonance in which we are able to directly invite a higher presence into our lives. This subtle energy will surround us with an aura of prayer and reverence, encouraging us to stand in the spirit of nakedness. A great deal of information will be synthesized here, activating much of our so-called junk DNA. This mystical invocation cannot be grasped with our minds. In fact, this sweet realization that our lives are transforming from inside out happens in spite of who we are. There you go. This is a powerful, powerful time, and that moment when the Sun met with Neptune, it was just a day prior to full moon, so it was still very, very exact when the moon was exactly full. So this whole full moon is it's a very strong expression of that energy too. Now let's go one step further. Again, Neptune and the Sun, they are occupying the second and the third line this time of that hexagram. And if we go back here quickly, if we change the second and the third line over, you already can imagine what it looks like, and that's what it will look like. Hexagram 41 decrease. So this hexagram represents a decrease of the lower trigram in favor of the upper. You can imagine this line here has moved up to here, because the third line, originally strong, has moved up to the top, and the top line, originally weak, has replaced it. What is below is decreased to the benefit of what is above. So, in a very basic way said, the material part of who we are is reduced in favor of the spiritual part, the higher, all the world of spirit, of ideas, of energy, versus the world of physical reality and of necessities. Decrease does not, under all circumstances, mean something bad. Increase and decrease come in their own time. What matters here is to understand the time and not to try to cover up poverty with empty pretense. So that means we just have to really go along with the limitations, and they will pay out in a big way. If a time of scanty resources brings out an inner truth, one must not feel ashamed of simplicity, for simplicity is then the very thing needed to provide inner strength for further undertakings. Now, all which I'm reading here, I pretty much copied out of the I Ching book. I'm not adding anything. I'm really mostly just exactly reading. So you can be quite astonished, as I was, how accurate this reading is for the time we are experiencing. Indeed, there need be no concern if the outward beauty of the civilization should have to suffer because of simplicity. One must draw on the strength. Yes, hello, Yatsi. You come to say hello. My puppy is coming. Yes. One must draw on the strength of the inner attitude to compensate for what is lacking in externals. Then the power of the content makes up for the simplicity of form. Even with slender means, the sentiment of the heart can be expressed. How true. Okay, I just wanted to share that with you. I thought that was so extraordinary, and it really proves astrology in a big way, and also gives lots of value to those 64 hexagrams. Those of you who are not familiar with them, you might want to buy an I Ching book or find one in a whatever used bookstore. And those of you who are interested, I will offer a online course very soon, maybe in a few months, hopefully being ready, and that will be one of the subjects we dive deeper into. For now, thank you for joining in and listening, and soon more as new moon is approaching, and this coming new moon is something by itself. I won't give much away yet, but I hope I will see you again soon. Again, thanks for joining and listening.